Erick Schonfeld, co-editor of TechCrunch. Erick, could we have a major bust in 2011? Fred Wilson thinks that we're on a bubble. Are you worried that things may fall apart next year?
Fall apart for who?
Fall apart for all these social media companies that are being overvalued, that are getting massive investments. Fall apart from Facebook, that is now valued on the private market at $50 billion, even though it's not clear what its profits are.
Yeah, well, I think eventually some of these larger companies are going to have to go public, and then we're going to see whether these private valuations, that are based on thinly traded stocks, were realistic or not. And we're also going to see their financials and what their financial viability is. Now, the bubble, there's different types of bubbles. I think that the bubble that Fred Wilson was sort of cautious about was really more an earlier stage investing, where he sees a lot of the early seed stage deals just being bid up kind of to crazy valuations based on really no financial metrics. That's different than the Zyngas and Groupons and Facebooks of the world and Skypes that are making billions of dollars. And it's very clear what their metrics are, even though they may have new growth drivers down the road that are not yet really producing a lot of revenue today. But those are two different situations, and in the early stage situation, if a company gets too high a valuation in their A round, that money only lasts a few years, and if they don't sort of produce the financial results that would help them get a higher valuation when they need money, in a B round, that's just bad news for them, because then nobody wants to invest, or it's a down round, they get pressured. So that's really sort of something that is happening more, in the smaller companies, and it's kind of impossible to say, what's going to happen, because these are all pre-revenue companies, right? But definitely there's way too many, group buying companies. There's more than 500 of them, and you don't really need more than a handful, really. I mean, a lot of those are going to be gone in a year. And so same thing with any sort of Me Too type company. And when people are chasing deals, and when investors are chasing concepts, and if they couldn't get into Groupon, then they'll invest in another company. Maybe they'll invest in Living Social, which is a pretty high quality company. But then you got Buy With Me, and then you got, you kind of go down the list, and by the time you get to the 10th or 20th one, it's really kind of getting kind of sketchy.
What else concerns you about 2011? A lot of people believe that this will be the year that privacy really becomes a major issue politically.
I think that privacy is always an issue, and it becomes an issue during election years. So it's probably not going to become an issue, until the next sort of presidential primaries and everything get underway. But yeah, increasingly you have these security breaches, and people don't really follow the the right security protocols, and their information is compromised, and all of the sort of bad actors who were doing email spam a few years ago now are doing all these other more sophisticated internet attacks, where they try to get all of your passwords, and just you don't even know that you've been compromised.
Will 2011 be the year that net neutrality is finally fixed, and we'll never have to hear about that issue again?
No, I think it's sort of that's a perennial issue. It's been with us for ever since the net was been with us. But I think it's an important issue, and there are all these lobbying efforts by large companies, and it's interesting that, traditionally the telcos, the Verizons of the world, were the ones who really put a lot of the lobbying effort on the FCC and in Congress to craft these types of legislation. And now you're seeing, Google team up with Verizon, and it's kind of unclear, like, who's the good guys and who are the bad guys here, who's really fighting for, the freedom of the internet, because they want all these carve-outs for mobile, and, they don't want the same rules to apply, at least not yet. And that does sort of raise a lot of concerns, and hopefully, they can clarify their positions, or I'm not sure that sort of government regulation is the answer, because you're just going to have these companies sort of find loopholes and do what they want to do anyways. I think what you need to do is to sort of set the competitive environment in a way that encourages good behavior.
Erick, I want to wish you the best of luck in 2011. If you were in the studio, I'd kiss you, but you're not. So thank you very much.
Okay, well, next time. Thank you, Andrew.